Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome back to Armoured Warfare. This is I think it's the third stage of the closed beta test. And I'm going to talk to you about one of those things that sets Armoured Warfare apart from many of its existing competitors, and I'm thinking primarily here of World of Tanks and to a lesser extent War Thunder Ground Forces. Armoured Warfare has a late 20th century, early 21st century setting, and so some of its weapon systems are different. And so far, all you've really seen are guns and artillery, and we've seen guns and artillery before, so what is different here? Anti-tank guided missiles. That's the answer. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to do it with the help of the Swingfire Armoured Personnel Carrier. This is... I say armoured personnel carrier. Sorry. Had a bit of a brain fart. What's the proper vehicle? Armoured fighting vehicle, that's the one. You know, sometimes you just have that moment where you can't remember something. I do anyway. Maybe you guys don't experience that. Anyway, this is the Swingfire. It was a British armoured fighting vehicle in sort of the 1970s, basically. And it has a rather unusual feature in that it doesn't get a gun at all. Its only weapon system is the Swingfire missile system. That's it. So basically this is going to be make or break for guided missiles. If the guided missiles are fun, this will be fun, and if they're not, it won't. And of course this is going to be very subjective, it's my own opinion. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind with guided missiles in Armoured Warfare. Firstly, they are not fire and forget, i.e. you hover your reticle over the target, you fire the missile, and then you have to keep that reticle over the target for the missile to have a reasonable chance of hitting the target. That's the first thing, so you can't just, you know, fire and leg it. Secondly, you have to be stationary when you fire. Alright, fine. Thirdly, the enemy will get a little missile warning thing come up to tell them there is a missile inbound on their current location. This gives them an opportunity to move, and perhaps especially to the point, if of course they can break eye contact with you, then you can't hover your cursor over them anymore, and the missile is going to struggle to hit. Bazinga. So there's that. If the missile does hit, and does manage to do damage, you are looking at, certainly from my experience, and my experience is solely the Swingfire I should mention, then you are looking at doing a lot of damage. However, different tanks have different armour properties. Some machines have armour that is particularly effective against anti-tank guided missiles, especially at the higher tiers, or the mid-tiers of the game. And so in my experience, this has made firing guided missiles, no pun intended, a very hit or miss experience. You either have a great game and rack up 4,000 damage, or you have a terrible game and struggle to do anything because all you're ever doing is blowing off people's tracks and little bits of module damage here or there. And of course this is an armoured fighting vehicle, so you are kind of expected to play the role of a scout. One other thing I've noticed, of course, one other thing I've noticed is that the trajectory of your missile does not go from missile launcher straight to target's face. It takes a very roundabout route. What this means is that if you're at point blank range and you fire a missile into someone's face, don't expect it to get there within about 5 seconds. It can be rather frustrating. Basically, because the Swingfire doesn't have a regular gun, it is purely missiles, this is really not a close range vehicle. If you want to use the weapon system, you have to be a respectable distance away, which can get a bit annoying, frankly. Anyway, let's just try and show you some gameplay. Don't, as I've mentioned before, don't kind of try and draw too much from how I'm playing this game. I mean, if we look at my dossier, I have played 129 games. I have a 49% win rate. That used to be about a 60% win rate, and then I had one evening where I won 1 game out of 11. And yeah, that just plummeted. But I do not claim to be a particularly good player at Armoured Warfare. I certainly haven't played it very much. I wasn't involved in any of the earlier tests or anything like that. So, do bear that in mind. Don't try and draw too much from my gameplay. I'm just trying to show you the different types of vehicle at the moment, and I'm really not worrying too much about my own performance. I'm just trying to test things because this is a closed beta test. Anyway, let's just try and throw ourselves into a game and see what we get. My very first game in this actually ended up being quite good. We managed to carry our team a bit, pull through a victory with something like 4,000 damage. And it seems to be the first game I play in this thing on a given day. I get a good game, and subsequent games tend to be a bit naff, so we'll see how this pans out. Ooh, we found a game! Hurrah! What are we going to get? It's a tier 4 game. Okay, so we're top tier. Leopards, T-64s. The main point there is that because we're top tier, there aren't really many tanks with fancy missile defense systems or anything. So if I can get a good solid hit with a missile on someone, it's likely to do a shed ton of damage. And the Obsidian team still haven't fixed that annoying thing where between battles the game does not remember your zoom setting, which means you have to go through all that palaver again. It's a little thing, but it's annoying. Anyway, we are on this map. Okay, cool, fine. There we go, let's go back to getting zoom settings. Right. So, as I'm an armoured fighting vehicle, and we do have a few AFVs, but as I'm an AFV, I'm going to try and spot for my team. That is the initial plan. This might go horribly wrong. If this does go horribly wrong, I'm going to play a second game in the Swingfire, and I'm basically just going to play it such that you get to at least see what firing missiles is like. In fact, for what I'm trying to do, we're probably in the wrong spawn. Yes, we are. Whoops-a-daisy. Anyway. Gonna hunker down behind this rock. We've found a pattern. And it looks like our artillery was on the ball, as I think that was an artillery shell from one of our M109. Run away, run away, run away, run away. I've been spotted. They've changed the spotting icon. I think that was done in about the second phase of testing. Basically, I'm just trying to make sure that no one has a solid line of fire onto me. And... I'm just trying not to get shot at, essentially, at the moment. Don't want to rush forward because that's not going to be very good for my health. And we've already lost a leopard, which is not a particularly great start. I don't think I've been spotted, but let's just pull back to make sure. I don't want to take pain. There we go. That looked like a Swingfire missile. Right, there's a leopard over there, T-62. I'm going to see if I can get shots on either of these guys. Ah, lass. And there you can see he just backed off behind a ridgeline. I wasn't able to keep the reticle over him, and so my missile just went into the dirt. There's that leopard. Oh, Sheridan nailed him. The missiles also take an awfully long time to get to their target, which can be kind of frustrating. Now he's behind something solid. Sheridan! Again, he backed down behind a piece of cover. The anti-tank guided missiles in this game really seem to be something that heavily punish someone who sits still, doesn't know what they're doing, but are in many situations almost useless against someone who is willing to move and not get shot at. And you could argue, well, that's how things should be, right? Well, yes, perhaps it is, but it makes them very frustrating to play. Again, makes it very frustrating to play with a machine that has only missiles as its weapon system, no gun. There you go. Missile missed at point blank range because it wasn't really coming from the barrel of my gun, and he's dead. So that was just showing you how useful guided missiles are at point blank range. They're not. So far I have fired 5 shots, I think, and hit none of them.
Identify target.
Hostile tank.
Oh great, it's a T-64 at close range. Oh no, it's a Sheridan. And I'm dead. There we go. That's pretty much indicative of my swing fire experience. You either get a great game or a terrible game. Now I might have picked up some assistance damage there for spotting things, but I didn't actually do a single point of damage myself. And the swing fire missile system was a waste of time. So the second game, hopefully we can win this, but I'll probably just edit forward to the score screens and then to the second game. The second game, I'm not going to play this as an armoured fighting vehicle. I'm going to specifically try to show you, hopefully get some damage with that missile system. That's going to be the purpose, but we'll see how it goes. So, for now, we'll just leave this game because it could still be going on for a little while, and then we shall come back to it. So, from that game in the swing fire, we did eventually actually win it. We came 1, 2, 3, 4th from bottom. That's actually one of the worst games I've had in the swing fire. We spotted 5 targets, we got no assistance damage and no actual damage. What are you gonna do? So, let's take the swing fire out for one more outing, and I will try to actually show you, hopefully, this missile system doing some damage. That's the plan, anyway. But the last game did nicely illustrate one of the things I do think about anti-tank guided missiles. They're very unreliable and very frustrating to use, and that's not a good thing. I find it a little confusing that Armoured Warfare have taken World of Tanks artillery and made them so much better, not RNG based particularly, not so frustrating, actually potentially fun to use. And then they've introduced guided missiles, which go back to being frustrating and annoying. I do apologise about that. So I'm not really sure why they've done that, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. So, another Tier 4 game. We are here on, I can't even remember the name of this map. Cold Strike, that's the one.
Driver, crank it.
Affirmative.
Gunner, scan the target.
Do this stupid zoom thing again. Great. The last good game I had in the swing fire was actually on this map, so let's see what we can do. Oh. No, this is not World of Tanks. I can't drive over that. It just spontaneously combusted because reasons. Other people can do a lot of the spotting this time. I want to try and shoot things because the whole point of this video is the guided missiles, not scouting in Armoured Warfare. The game does seem to be better optimised than it was the last test, but it's not the best. It still could be better. Well, okay, I don't know if it could be better, but it's still, even if I weren't recording, there are still times when it just lags, basically. No, he's behind the thingy. No, the last good game I had in this was not on this map, I tell a lie. Because there weren't snow before. Wait, can I actually get up here and do anything round here? Ooh. Nope. Nope. Nope, nope. Nope, 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 nope. Kept my reticle on the target. He moved. I didn't get any damage. I mean, it's a long range shot. Maybe he's too far away. I can't remember the range on the... if there's a range on these missiles or not. I really can't remember. I probably should remember, but that's my own fault. I can't. Right, I'm going to get closer because it's weird. Shooting guided missiles from a long way away tends to be ineffective because they don't hit. Shooting guided missiles from point blank range tends to be ineffective because they don't hit. You need to be in this kind of mid-range engagement, and it's kind of frustrating.
Hostile tank.
T-64. Oh, BMD-1, you'll do. Oh my god, it lagged out, but I managed to kill something! Oh my god, and I wasn't spotted for my troubles. So, we've actually done some damage, and you saw it was quite a lot of damage, with a guided missile system. No, it's never gonna hit. It's a shame. And because this is not a turret, you're effectively just bringing sensors to bear on a target. There's no, like, aim time penalty for moving the targeting reticle or anything like that. Don't have shots on this BMD. What about this one? He's behind a load of stuff, and this game is getting away from me. So let's try to move up and actually do some damage. So far we've fired a few shots, we got one hit and it got us a kill. We did almost 400 damage with that one hit, which when you consider that, you know, the 105mm gun on the M60 pattern does about 240 average, kind of gives you an idea for how much damage the anti-tank guided missiles can do. That was terrible because there's a thing in the way and now I'm going to get a shot. Well, maybe not yet. Yep, now I'm going to get a shot. Oh, hit a thing, and I've been spotted again. And he's just backed off. So it looks like this is going to be a pair of fairly dry games. There's no one going forward with me. So it looks like this is potentially going to be a pair of fairly dry games in the swing fire, but we'll run with it anyway. Yeah, don't have a shot on him. Alright, let's try and help the other swing fire with this T-64. If he's just going to sit still. No penetration! There's only a T-64. Hurrah! Ah, dear. And the funny thing is, of course, if I were to go over there with the AMX 10P and unload 20mm high explosive shells into him, I'd kill him. But no, I have to be in a swing fire with missile systems. Yeah. No, he's dead. The other swing fire nailed him. I think this is just going to be a very dry pair of games. Oh well. I'm not going to play a third. And if I were in any other sort of armoured fighting vehicle, I would like to flank around these guys and shiv them from behind. But I'm not. I'm in a swing fire and I don't have a good old-fashioned regular gun. I'm still going to try it, but it's probably going to go wrong. Did I get him? No, someone else landed the shot first. Oh, there he is. Oh, holy cack. I can't sit still for long enough to make the bleeding shot happen. And then I'm dead. Yeah. So that... well, they're actually a pair of the worst games I've had in the swing fire, but I think they did quite nicely sum up my opinions of anti-tank guided missiles in Armoured Warfare. Yeah. Well, let's just wait until this game finishes. Come on, just kill him, Mr. Leopard. There we go. And then I shall give my impression in case you were in any doubt. We won't have done very well in that game. We might have got some assistance damage this time. Who knows? We shall find out. Oh, we got 340 assistance damage, go us, and 379 damage. We finished 4th from the bottom again. So, what do I think about armoured, anti-tank guided missiles in this game? Why? Just why have they incorporated them? I mean, I can come up with some reasons why they've done it, I guess, but it's one of the things that distinguishes them from their competitors. I get that. It's a new mechanic, I understand that. And it's terrible, and I don't mean terrible in as much as it's bad, although I do actually think it's quite bad. I kind of object to the whole concept of it. If you're using a missile system, let's disregard how accurate they may or may not be. You can't fire on the move. You have to be stationary. You have to have been stationary for some period, for a few seconds before you can fire. You can't... there will be some targets that because of their armor layout you basically can't damage, and there will be some targets that because of their armored layout, if you land a hit, you will do a shed ton of damage. It is not, in my opinion, a well thought out, well implemented mechanic. And it is, to my mind, at best pointless, and at worst completely undesirable. The Armoured Warfare artillery have taken World of Tanks artillery and made it so much better. They've made it more reliable. It is more fun to play against, because if you take a hit, you don't suddenly lose all of your health, half your crew and all your modules, if you take a penetrating hit. And so much better to play as, because you can actually consistently and reliably support your allies, which you can't really do in artillery a lot of the time. So they've massively improved on that mechanic. They've removed that whole frustrating RNG fueled bit of it, which is great, and then introduced anti-tank guided missiles, which as far as I can work out are at their very core frustrating luck based weapon system, where you can't reliably help your allies. You will either do a shed ton of damage or very little. Now, this perception might be coloured by the fact that the Swingfire is the only tank with missiles that I've played, and it only gets missiles. Maybe something like the Sheridan that gets a choice of what to fire might be better. I think it gets a choice anyway. and might be less frustrating. I could perhaps understand anti-tank guided missiles if they were just a consumable. You use them like you would a repair kit or something else. In the right situation, there we go, bam, the anti-tank guided missile button, away it goes, does some damage, job's a good one. But as a main weapon system on a tank? No. Just no. From a gameplay perspective, I genuinely don't understand why they've incorporated ATGMs into the game. I don't think it's a good move. I've played a few. I mean, this is not just my impression based on the 2 games I've shown you, which have been quite dry. This is my impression having played some games in the Swingfire. I don't like the ATGMs. I really, really don't. And people complain about them on the Armoured Warfare forums and whinge and moan. And usually if someone's whinging and moaning on something, they're there to claim it's overpowered. I'm not trying to make any case based on balance. I don't know if anti-tank guided missiles are balanced or not. I haven't played anywhere near enough games to draw that sort of opinion. But from the games I have played, I just think they're a terrible idea. Fundamentally. Badly implemented. And I think it's a massive shame. Yeah, I don't like them at all. Really, really, really don't like them. They're more frustrating than it's playing artillery and mortar tanks, and that's just annoying and frustrating. So there we go. There are my thoughts. Anti-tank guided missiles in Armoured Warfare in their current implementation, garbage. I don't just mean bad. I just mean why? Just why? Anyway. There we go. There was my quick little rundown of ATGMs in Armoured Warfare. I hope you guys maybe found it vaguely interesting. If you did, I've got some other Armoured Warfare videos, a few of them. Or if you just found it vaguely amusing, I don't know, even though it was a kind of negative video, if that makes sense. Feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.